Well, I've managed to add another replica pistol to my very small collection of Old West American replica firearms. This one is made by ASG, and it is a replica of an 1877 Smith Wesson Schofield Revolver. And as far as I can tell, it's a pretty damn good replica. I mean, I've only seen pictures and videos of the original weapon, but this thing looks and to all intents and purposes could easily pass as one of these weapons. Now, this is a CO2 cartridge powered air pistol, much like the Colt Peacemaker that I showed in an early video. In fact, it uses exactly the same system. It uses dummy cartridges, which you put the pellets in. I'll show those in a minute, and you load them in the same way. The difference between this and the Colt, obviously, for those of you who don't know, is that the Smith & Wesson is a top break revolver, and I'll show that again in a minute, rather than a fixed frame and barrel with a loading gate for the cylinder. This is the aging black finish with imitation wood grips, and I have to say the imitation wood on this is really good. The finish on the grips is it really does look like wood, whereas on the Colt it doesn't really. It's a little bit shiny on the shiny side. This is really good. They also do a steel grey finish with imitation pearl grips, which is also a very nice gun. But yeah, this is the aging black finish one. It's got a 6-inch barrel. Another difference between this and the Colt is this can shoot BBs or pellets. It's .177 caliber, and you just use different shells depending on whether you're using BBs or pellets. But that's basically it. The same gun will shoot either type of ammunition. Let's take a closer look at it. Quick bit of history here. Why is this thing called a Schofield Revolver? Well, basically, this is a Smith & Wesson Model No. 3 revolver. However, there was a Major George Schofield, who was in the 10th Cavalry at the time, who suggested some improvements to the original Model No. 3 to make it easier for the cavalry to use this weapon on horseback. There were several modifications, but the main one was in the latch on the top break of the gun, and I'll explain that when we have a look at that later on. First of all, we'll have a quick look at the CO2 system. You just pop the cover off this grip, take that off, and there you can see the CO2 cartridge in place. It's exactly the same as the Colt. There's an Allen headed grub screw in this end of the grip. You undo that. That will allow you to remove the CO2 gas cartridge, put your new one in, tighten the screw up. The wrench again is in the grip, so you don't need an extra wrench. It actually comes with one. You tighten that up. There is a tab, just like on the Colt, on the top of the grip panel, and then you just locate that tab. There we go. Snap it back into position, and you're loaded up and ready to go from the gas point of view. So, to load the gun, the clip, which is on the frame, and this was one of the mods that Schofield made to the Model 3 Smith & Wesson. It was originally on the barrel, not on the frame, this clip. So you pull this back, and then you can tilt the barrel forward. The ejector lifts the shells, I think you can see that, out of the cylinder, and then you can pull them out and replace them. If you push the barrel further forward, the ejector will snap back in and take the shells with it. So, okay, so what's that's fine, but why would you want to do this? Well, the point is that what you can do if you're on horseback, you can very quickly, if you do this quickly, let's do it this way, it's probably easier. So I'll undo the clip. It will actually fling the shells out. That's the whole point. It can fling the shells out, and you unloaded the gun very quickly. And on horseback, that's easy to do. Bear in mind the cavalry officers would be wearing gloves as well, so Anyway, so that's how you eject the shells on the Schofield. Now, to load it, you can load the shells outside of the gun, take your pellet and just push it into the end, just like you did on the Colt. And you can load it like that, and then you can load the shells into the gun. To load this, come out of it. There's various ways you can do this. Now you can, as you open this up, the ejector, just get this right there, the ejector raises up like that. Now you can load the shells like this if you want to, but it's probably actually easier to allow the ejector to snap back and then load the shells like this. And you're good to go. Personally, I generally, because I'm lazy, I generally leave them in there like that, and then I just load the pellets with the shells already in the gun, like this. So yeah, that is how the gun is loaded. Now, the hammer has 3 positions. This is the fully closed position, and the cylinder in that position is locked. The half cock is very, very slightly back from fully closed, and that allows you to rotate the cylinder, and then fully cocked, and you're ready to fire. Well, that really is about all there is to say on the Smith & Wesson Schofield Revolver. A few other facts. Weight-wise, it weighs 1.035 kilos, which is 2.28 pounds. That's slightly lighter than the weight of the original gun, which was 1.3 kilos, which is 2.9 pounds. But other than that, I mean, it's fairly close. It's quite a weighty gun to use. What we will do is we'll compare it to the Colt. We'll put them together so you can see the 2 guns together. So there are the 2 guns side by side. Personal preference wise, and this has got nothing to do with anything other than my own personal opinions, I prefer the Colt. I think the Colt has a nicer action, and it feels better, and it's got a nicer trigger on it. But there's nothing at all wrong with Schofield. It's absolutely fine. The Schofield's grips are very definitely superior to the Colt. This, as you can see, is very, very shiny, and it's obviously plastic. This actually feels far more like polished wood than this does, so that's really nice. I also think I prefer the aged black finish on the Schofield compared to the blued finish on the Colt. But again, these are all personal preferences. I mean, you can clearly see the difference in barrel lengths on the 2 guns there. But anyway, that's it for now. You never know, there might be more in the future. I hope you've enjoyed the little video on the ASG Smith & Wesson Schofield Replica air pistol. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.